Thanks, Chris. Does everyone want to see what we've been cooking up? Yeah? Well, you're going to have to wait about 7 more minutes. So first, I'm just going to emphasize a couple of points Nitesh just made. So, bit of a reality check. So we know there's a massive amount of investment required globally in critical infrastructure. So energy infrastructure's got to change to decarbonize. Population's constantly moving, so we need more road, rail. The AI boom, everyone wants to build data centers. The impact that has on energy and water for cooling. And then, sadly, in the Western world, a lot of our assets were built decades ago. So at the same time, we've got to be upgrading, replacing lots of things. And then the murky, murky world of geopolitics today means there's more emphasis on protecting from physical and cyber attacks, as well as increased energy independence. So there's a lot to do here, right? The UK government has pledged, I think, £725 billion over the next 10 years of part of their 10-year infrastructure strategy. Firstly, does that sound like it's enough? Let's have a show of hands. Who thinks we need 300 billion more than that? Not that many people. Okay. Well, it might surprise you to see that analysts think we actually need 1.6 trillion pounds more over the next 10 years in the UK alone. And if we look over the pond to the US, they're talking about an investment gap of $3.7 trillion. So it's pretty obvious there is a lot to do here. And there's just not enough time or money to do this. So we need a massive step change in productivity and efficiency, exactly as Nitesh was saying. So how do we do that? So, as Nitesh was saying, some of you still have floppy disks lying around. We need to make a massive, massive change in how we do things. Some people say we can't have it all, right? We can't save time, money, and have better quality all at the same time. And that's true in a vacuum. But if you have technology and process innovation, that's where things really change. And digitization is inevitable, right? We have to do that. But it isn't just about, chucking bits of paper onto a PDF or putting spreadsheets and files into a glorified filing cabinet in the cloud. We actually need to put that in people's hands so they can actually make the most of it. And that's where digital twins comes in. So digital twins is a massive buzzword, right? What does it actually mean in construction? So there's like a utopian view of digital twins, right? So everyone talks about seamless replica of reality, fully up to date at all times with these magical simulation and predictive powers. And sure, we will get there eventually. But today we need to be real with what we actually have. And to help gauge what's real enough to do a job, you've got to really think about what are the use cases? What are you really trying to accelerate? So you've got to think about what's the landmass you're looking at? What's the level of detail you need on the asset? What's the job you're actually doing? Who's actually doing that job? How do they need to work together? And what kind of data do you need to make that happen? And the more and more you look at the complexity of the jobs in construction, the clearer it is that that's not just one piece of software, right? So as Nitesh was saying, you need a whole gamut of software to come together. And this is what we see as a digital twin today in construction. It's a system of systems all working together, interconnected. But the more you bring data and people together, the more it's clear you need a central entry point into that for the wider user base. And that's where Sensat comes in. We connect to all your tools, we suck all of the data in, visualize it seamlessly and intuitively, and then with the introduction of workspaces earlier today, you can actually carve out different subsets of that for different teams to work together as they need to. So going into 2026, we're doubling down on this agenda of bringing people and data together. Workspaces is going to become significantly smarter. So we're going to be making it so they will automatically update to the latest information at all times, which, sounds helpful. But then we're also going to be pushing that further, moving beyond having people sift through all the different files that might be in there to be able to actually query or even ask for the data that's relevant. So thinking about, what's changed over the last week that's relevant to me. What does my particular discipline need to know? Or what's, say, moved from work in progress to approved? All of that will become significantly easier. Next up, we're going to be completely revamping our mobile experience. So focusing on site inspection workflows, you'll be able to, Holly is grimacing, but yes, we will. You're going to be able to have workers in the field, be able to take photos, share them instantly, fully geolocated, and start a conversation with people back in site. So if someone's going on site, back in the office. So if you're going on site to maybe inspect whether a piece of equipment's going to fit, or a worker notices a potential hazard, or you're just documenting assets, you'll be able to just take that photo instantly and have that stream straight into your digital twin, in context with all of the rest of your data and discoverable. And lastly, well, not lastly, but next, because I'm not going through the whole of 26, we're going to be introducing a slew of features to create significantly more structured registers and workflow in the system. So think adding attributes, statuses, user assignment, think CDM, health and safety, risks, issues, and so on. So again, some of you may be doing that already in other systems or spreadsheets, hopefully not. But what we're talking about here is, again, having this seamlessly integrated with all of your data, geolocated, and more importantly, discoverable by those that need it fully across the supply chain. So there's a lot of different things here. Sensat's already helping your projects save millions of pounds and thousands of days of work a year. These things are going to unlock even more savings. But is that enough? Not audience participation. No, it is not enough. We are, federating data, visualizing it seamlessly, collaboration tools. These are all very important pillars, but we're missing one. We need to accelerate and automate all of your workflows eventually, and Khalid's going to show us how.
So Yacoob's the pragmatic, serious, do the right thing person. I'm going to show you where the fun's going to be next year. So AI, Sensat's been in it for a very long period of time. But we've just never really exposed it out to the real world. We've never exposed that capability or the work that we've done in the past to our customers because we knew that there was a time that it needs to mature first before our customers get value from it. We've been we started off as a drone company capturing data. 8 years, we've done that. So we know geospatial and non-geospatial data in this industry pretty well. We build the software to visualize it, to bring people together, so we know the software piece really well. We know how to interface into that data. What was missing, and what started off early this year, was the intelligence piece, the magic. So we've been working on that, and we've been bringing that data into the intelligence world. And it's not that we're going to do it next year. We have been working on it this year. In the background, it's not in your hands yet, but we wanted to get ahead of ourselves a little bit to see. So at the start of the year, we put this little team together called Sensat Labs. Well, there's a lot of labs around nowadays, but they're cool. All they do, yes? Yes? Yes. I lead it. He's the CTO. I lead the Sensat Labs. That's the cooler part. But labs, we do crazy things. We've got to make sure that Sensat does not get into a comfort zone. We're always pushing boundaries. We'll fail. We failed multiple times. But we learn very fast. And we move really fast. Every bit of failure sort of pushes us in the right direction. December last year, 24, I said something on the interweb about something called vector embeddings. And everybody was like, what? Even my own engineers goes, oh, there he goes again. Khalid's talking about vector embeddings again. And now, how many of you have heard of that term? Oh, you have? Oh, come on, Cynthia. Nonsense are people. How many of you heard of that term? No. You need to understand that that's the lowest level tech geekiness of all the geospatial AI that's happening, or all the AI that's been happening all over the world and happened for the past 30-odd years. That's the underlying tech. It's not deep learning. That's just all the wrappers. I knew that there's more value in it, and we started to extract it. If you want to talk a little bit more geeky about this, the idea really is that we take all of that extremely complex data, put into some magical computer understandable space, extremely low level. Don't need to worry about that. We'll do the work. And what comes out the other end is pretty much, and I'll put myself on the line, on-demand analysis and prediction. And we'll see a little bit of that later on. So, we've been working hard. Well, particularly, I've been trying to prove to people that this vector embedding actually is some reality behind it. So, and we're going to give it to you. These are the products that are going to come into your hands, and you guys are going to play around with it. So, here's a little snippet of what's coming.
Our most ambitious projects are bigger than ever. We capture terabytes of data, but this scale creates a new problem. Finding what truly matters. The risks, the constraints, the critical assets. It's a slow, manual hunt. It's a high-stakes guessing game. It costs time, it costs money, and it's prone to human error. Until now. What if you could just talk to your data? This is Orion. The AI-powered visual search engine for your project. You can simply draw around a feature, and Orion will return you similar matches in your data. You can even search with Orion using text. Orion scans your entire site in seconds, identifying every asset you're looking for. Instantly map all your constraints, de-risk your project, and make decisions with total confidence. Once you have found what you are looking for, you can save the results as a layer in your workspace and embed it in your workflow. Orion has landed. We're now inviting select partners to our exclusive beta program. Orion. Ask, find, decide.
So Orion is the start. It's not the end. It's not even the middle. It's just basically we're packing up things to go on a road trip. This is just a proof that vector embeddings, the tech that sits on top of this weird little topic of vector embeddings, it works. The way it works is you take your images and pass it through Orion, and it becomes a search engine. You can pretty much in real time search through anything. This is not the old school, so for object recognition that only recognizes cars or only recognizes buildings. It is, I mean, swimming pool was another example. That we don't even know what its capabilities really are. It searches for things. It's like the old school Google search before your images. And any images, any type of aerial data set, satellites, drones, they all work. So instantly your image becomes searchable, and that's just a start. We've even tested some contextual searching, like red car on a motorway. And yes, it works. Single tree in a middle of a field. It works. Stagnant water, not just any water, stagnant water because post-flooding events. It works. water treatment plant, this actually surprised me, that how well it actually picked up this particular thing. Pylons, there's been stuff, and then you can see that the patterns actually do appear. But we're labs. We're not going to stop there. While we were building this a bit more serious, powerful tech, we just suddenly came across another little bit more fun one. So we thought, okay, let's start building that as well. At the same time, we're a tiny team, but we are a little all over the place. So we launched another product. This, in fact, is going to get into your hands first, potentially Monday. Yes. So you guys will be able to. I had to make sure. But let's watch another video. Oh, come on. I have to be in this zone.
So you've got your project data, an incredibly accurate representation of the real world. But this is just the beginning, the foundation, the spark of an idea. But what if you could instantly see what you're thinking? What if you could turn this into this? Meet AI Snapshot, the new creative engine in your platform. One click turns your data into a stunning, photorealistic scene. See it on a sunny day, a rainy day, or even at night, instantly. Now, let's add your ideas. AI Snapshot renders your blocky 3D models with realistic materials, blending them perfectly into the real-world environment, from block to brilliant. But what if you don't have a 3D model? Just draw a zone, describe your idea, and AI Snapshot will create it for you. It's that simple. Need to clean up the site? Just tell it what to remove. Gone. It's your digital sandbox. Test every idea that pops into your head. Now for the really big ideas. You can explore what-if scenarios, like simulating the impact of a flood to understand and communicate risk. The power is all yours. And the best part, it all happens right here in the platform. No screenshots, no watermarks, just pure creative flow right inside your project. AI Snapshot is here, where imagination meets the real world.
Every video that comes out of Sensat Labs, there's going to be this Dolby boom at the end of it, all of it. So you'll remember it. But look, this is a bit more fun, but I have had so much fun with this, playing around, and fun in a way that something closer to our use cases that I have actually heard and seen people do. A particular site, I want to see what sort of 1 to 100 flood will look like. Okay? That. What about a bit bigger flood? That. It gives you a visual indication of what that site will look like. Quite really, really useful for some communication and stakeholder engagement. There is satellite images. We've been playing around with it for a very long period of time. I want to visualize what my asset will look like in there. Like that. There's just a single prompt. Hey, put a water treatment plant in there. Now, this is your satellite imagery. Okay, there's nothing there, but you can actually play around with it. Just to give yourself a little bit of a visual hint of what you actually want to build. This is a request that I have to do in data soon for our NatGrid friends, that there's some designs and they want to clear the vegetation out. And yes, to actually do that in the data, I thought, well, let me try what it will look like. First, make it look a little pretty. Clear the vegetation around where the thing is. I said, I want a little bit more. Yeah, that's better. A bit more. A bit too much. Dial it down a little bit. Okay, I'm happy with that. But this now gives me an indication of how I need to now do actually my work, what sort of vegetation I need to remove in the other one, because that's also a scenario playing example, but in real data. There's a lot of stuff going on around it. However, as I said, this is just a start. I mean, we've got to generate AI photographs, right? But two of the people in here, in this image, are actually here. Let's see if you can figure out who they are. Anyway, look, one thing I'll tell you. This is just a start. We're still cooking. There's a lot to do. Orion will evolve into a bit more of a reasoning model. Anything that you've seen what AI Snapshot can do, imagine you can do that in your real 3D environment. That'll be quite cool. Because one thing I grew up with was gaming industry, playing around with SimCity and GTA. And the best thing about it was I was free to explore without breaking the world. Okay? And as a visual digital twin for now, everything for us is quite visual. So let's play around with that particular project. Let's create scenarios within it, but in actually real data that we can interact with. That's what our journey is going to be in 2026. One thing I know, everybody keeps talking about the AI. There is a key part missing nowadays in the AI, and that's the intelligence. They're not intelligent. AI currently, oh shit, this is recorded. Okay, cool. They're not intelligent, but what they're really good at is replicating patterns and consuming hundreds of terabytes of data, hundreds and hundreds of it, even more so. But what they actually then do to you is that we can then, using modern technology, give you access to what you can do with that data. We've been sitting in the geospatial industry, we've been sitting on literally exabytes of data sets, and we still don't know how to extract value from it. Okay? That just the Earth observation industry, satellite industries, literally, they've been selling data, right? That's all they do. Suddenly, everybody started to realize, oh, we could be a platform play. But now is the time to actually have technology that can consume all of that data and actually tell you what sort of patterns have been appearing. It learns from our prior patterns of software applications. It cannot generate new information. You must have seen that every time I ask it to draw some sort of a data piece, it always is graphs. It always sort of shows examples of data or insights as graphs. Come on, graphs are old. We've been using graphs for a while. But AI nowadays is great at mimicking many, many, many decades and potentially centuries of patterns within the data. And that's extremely useful. The true generation part, the true creativity part is yet to come yet. We've seen some signs in non-geospatial industry from Sora and videos. We've all had fun with those videos. That's also still replication. Try an experiment when you go away. Any sort of AI, LLM, large model, say, ask it to generate an alien for you. Just an alien, an image of an alien. And what you'll see is quite recognizable. It's not going to show you something that you've never seen before. That's what AI really is. Still good, still valuable, but there's a lot to be done yet. What we are going to do is that we're going to start experimenting a lot more around these technologies and start giving it into your hands. What we need from you, as I said, the AI Snapshot will be available to all of you guys from Monday. And it's free for 50 credits, which is about 50 photographs, or exactly 50 photographs. But we'll see. We want to hear from you guys, what you guys can do and what you guys are generating, what you're using it for. Orion is in the platform in test. We're testing it right now in the background. Okay? If you want to see it, I can show it to you later on. I can give you a little bit of a taster. But we want some serious partners. I want to hear from you first. What could you use Orion for? And then I'll give it to you for a while. Okay? And that's going to happen this year. Orion's getting out in the real world, out of beta, early 2026. Okay, that's definitely happening. That's our aim. But also, Orion is just a start. Search capability, just a start. That same piece is going to be able to do analysis. The same piece is going to be able to do change detection from your multiple drone data sets coming in every day. And that is going to be at a snap of a finger, because all you have to do is just ask. Because all the real work happens in the background at low level. But anyway, I hope I've got some brain juices going, because we're kicking that brain soup. There's a lot of that happening in Sensor Labs. And the exit of everything we do at Sensor Lab comes through the Sensor platform. So you guys will all get to play around with it. All right? Thank you very much.